This is where the wheels start coming off. I'm the last thing standing between you and happy hour. And you're the last thing standing between me and happy hour. Look how much we have in common already. This is awesome. What a great event. This is like the Lollapalooza of retailing summits, right? Without the music and a lot of sports coats, but still, we don't have an Eminem, but we got Terry. We don't have Outkast, but we got Bert. No Eminem, no Skrillex, but you got Jean Jackson. She's a rock star, my God. So what a privilege to be here, sincerely. And the way these things work is you get invited 6-8 months, ago, and you go, oh, okay, that's awesome. Kim Brooks. Yeah, sure, why not? My buddy Eric Snell says, why don't you go do this thing? Then you throw a deck together, and 6 or 8 months come by, and now I'm here. I'm as eager as you to find out what's on here. Because I don't remember. There's the first slide. It looks familiar. Oh, yes. Sustaining relevance through customer engagement. Wow, those are big words. Those are big topics. In the time we've been sitting here today, Forrester has published 50 white papers on that. And there's some guy at McKinsey that's creating the PowerPoint masterpiece of a lifetime. And really, it's a little simpler than that. But for me to really be real about it, how am I going to have a relevant conversation with you today about relevance if I really don't even know who you are? So, in the spirit of customer engagement, let's get to know each other a little bit better. And that'll help me understand if there's anything in this PowerPoint that's actually pertinent to you. We've got some huge, heavy hitters. All right, most of them left by now, but still, there's some heavy hitters in the room. Right? Common sense prevailed there. They didn't get where they are for nothing. And then we've got students in the back. It's so we need to know if there's a middle class. So let's spend a minute to find out a little bit more about each other. But as my wife often says, let's start with me. There I am, at least in mono. That's what we call in the business, mono. So if your attention to the screen on the right, the first thing you'll notice, wow, there I am, the one on the left. From back there, you can't tell, but from up here, that picture smells like weed, like you wouldn't believe it. That's what my mom used to call it. Remember those years when you didn't wear any shoes? Actually, that's my buddy and I, Walt Richardson, and we had a band called Morning Star, and we made some records, and we toured endlessly for about 15 years, and occasionally I get a check from BMI for 83 cents or something to remind me how awesome that was. The hair, Hey, in 1985, before color photography, apparently, that was a look. That was like lock up the ladies look. Today, it's kind of like, what the hell were you thinking? And how about now, too? It's like the closer I get to 60, the browner my hair gets. What's up with that? There's Shane and I. I started a band, Halo of Flies, plays with Alice Cooper. We do his fundraising for the Solid Rock Foundation. It's been a blast, keeps me in the game a little bit, and I really like it. So, yeah, guitar player from the time I was 12. I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona, and thank you very much. And I'm not from U of A. But I married a Wildcat. There you go. Next best thing, right? She wakes up in the middle of the night, loot, say it isn't true, loot. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? That's an inside joke for you guys. Okay. My whole life, a guitar player since I was 12 years old. If you would have told me that one day I would grow up to be the guy at Fender playing Mr. Potato Head with Stratocasters and that, I would have thought you were insane. So it is a dream come true job for me. Here I am over here, the fully actualized businessman. From that to that in a mere 21 years. It's deceptive because I'm not wearing pants in that picture, and it's a small victory, but I feel good about it. That's me, and you can tell, it's like I'm pretty squared away. I had, what is it, non-elective corporate counseling. Do you know what that is? Anybody have you ever had corporate counseling? Of course not, because you're not that guy trying to turn into that guy. It's pretty awesome. The non-elective type is when your company says, you know, you're kind of a brilliant guy, but you're a total asshole. Maybe this guy could help you. And they invest pretty big in you, and they do a 360, and they ask all your peer group what they think of you, and you go through this painful process. And at the end of it, you come out, you laugh at Dilbert. Your friends are equity bankers. You know, everything is awesome. So there I am, post-elective corporate counseling. My job says Senior Vice President of Global Marketing. We're not into titles a lot at Fender. That's an old title. It's been years since we talked about that stuff. I have P&L responsibility for Fender globally. The product divisions still report into me. I'm the licensing, I'm the authenticity guy. I don't win all those battles, but they do run it all past me. I don't do as much marketing as I used to, but I still have a voice there. So I'm probably more the GM of Fender, I guess. I spend a lot of time in S&OP meetings, spend a lot of time in our factories, operational. I spend way too much time with lawyers and accountants, and that's me. So now a little bit about you. So raise your hand. This is the interaction part. Let me come off of my little... Does it still work? Oh yeah, look at that. Is it working? We're good. I feel better, don't you? Whew. I was having flashbacks up there. Is my belly showing? I usually work it from the other way. Do you know what the brand, I'll mess this up. What's the name of where's the firming wear, guys? You know what I'm talking about. Leonisa. Yeah, were you guys still here? Did you bail too? Anyways, I want to do like a firming sport coat with them. Yeah, I was looking at people's websites the other night. My wife looked over my shoulder, and their website is like, you know, check it out sometime, guys. And ladies, because there's like some hot guys in there that don't need like firming whatever, but that's what they put on there. She's like, what are you looking at? I'm like, it's research. It's research. Who works offline only? Your job, you know, whatever it is, the only thing that you deal with is an offline type of thing. In other words, you have no online anything. You run a store that doesn't have any online. Is there anybody that's whole life is just brick or a customer breathing in your face or anything like that? Anybody by a show of hands? How telling is that? Holy cow. All right, online, and you do something to do with products. You're a category manager, or both, brick and click. You're a category manager, you're a product manager, whatever, raise your hands there. What was that half raise there, dear? Like, I think I do products. What's a brick? What's a click? Don't be shy, raise that hand. She's a product girl, I can tell. There's some more of you. Okay. What the hell do the rest of you people do if you don't do brick or click and you work on... Okay, so who's a merchant? Who considers himself a merchant? No, I'm a retailer. Right? Raise your hand if you work at PetSmart. Yeah, there we go. What do you call that? Who the hell's running the company, first of all? It's not a herd because you're good-looking people. It's like a bevy of PetSmart people, right? Do you have a name? Do you have a name for yourselves when you travel in a collective tribe like this? You should think about it. Just awesome. That's pretty cool. Look at the market fragmentation there. So this is why this issue becomes so important. When I was growing up, you went to A.J. Bayless, and there was like 2 meters of shelves for dog food and cat food. Now, you can go to PetSmart and meet with a consultant who can help you with your lactose-intolerant cat. Don't all cats, no, all cats don't like milk. Mine doesn't. Well, that's good because we have something for it. Would you like hard food or soft food? And while you're here, how are his joints? Right? How awesome is that? That's fragmentation. Who's been doing their job 20 years or more? Raise your hand, please. Ooh, yeah. 10 years or more. 5 years or more. Okay, we got some midterm. 1 year or more. Oh, fresh meat. Look at that. Not just where you work, but your career. 1 year or more. One more time. Between 1 and 5 years. Raise your hand. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see if we can make any of this make sense to you. That's Leo Fender. He's our founder. He was a clever guy. He had a little radio shop. Customer engagement started in the 40s with Leo. He had a radio shop. He wasn't a guitar player. He played like saxophone in high school band or something. But his customers at his little radio repair shop in Southern California, in Fullerton, California, would come in. And his customers would be musicians or people that had public address systems. So his first customer engagement was with musicians. And in a collaborative way over a period of many, many years, he built this company. Did he know he was collaborating? Did he know he was doing customer engagement? But I love in business how we do postmortems on these people, right? Like they're serial killers. What was Leo? What were the ingredients? What were the 7 highly weird things about Leo Fender that made him successful? Who the hell knows? He just was showing up at work every day driven. And then we kind of look at it and look at some of the reflections and try to figure out, well, what are the things that he did that were, that we can draw from? That's what we're going to do today. So we'll talk about relevance and customer engagement across the storyboard of Fender, which is a rich 60-year story. There's Leo. There he is. He didn't know what he was doing, but he was doing it. There's his little radio shop. That building's still there at like 800 Raymond or something. If you're in Fullerton, California, you can stop by. It was a bar for a while, I was told. It's pretty cool. There he is with his punch press. Not only did he revolutionize music, but he really revolutionized, for us, musical instrument manufacturing. The other thing that you don't stop to consider is that with all of the atrocities of the Second World War, the horrible, horrific things, one of the things that rarely gets mentioned, because it's not that big of a deal, but it occurs to me that basically that look, that mustache, ruined forever. You know what I mean? You could not have that mustache. That was odd. So he does, in a period of very short time, he really changes contemporary music. If you don't know anything about that, trust me, he was there with instruments. And a lot of times you see these movies and it's like, oh, there's the swing band coming through Southern California in 1945 or in Texas, Dust Bowl, and 120 of the town folk come out and they dress in their Sunday best and they dance. It wasn't like that. It was 4,000 or 5,000 people coming into an empty field with a set-up stage to see a band. And one of them was Leo Fender. And he'd have these guitars and these little amps with him. And he'd just be talking to musicians. And he'd be standing there going, imagine you're like the 5,000th guy, right? There's 4,999 people in front of you. The stage is about that big. There's no PA systems worth a darn, just kind of those horns like you see in the old MASH reruns. And thoughts are occurring to him. He's solving problems. What this guy believed in was things could operate better. They should be in service forever, like my mom's toaster, lived longer than my dad. He believed things should be repairable. They should stay in service. Those are the things that were driving him. And it was post-war America, right? Patriotism is high, huge manufacturing infrastructure that's basically just sitting there because we're not in a fight with anybody. People had the manufacturing spirit. They had that thing. He had it. In a period of a few short years, he creates the Telecaster guitar. That's the first Spanish solid body electric guitar. And when you look at it, you're like, well, that's okay, because that's what we're used to seeing, right? Isn't that what all the cowboys play? And that's the Nashville guitar, right? That's Keith Urban's guitar. But at the time, there was nothing like this. I mean, the people were just like, that will never sell. And basically what he did was he took the lap steel guitar. Are you familiar with that, anybody? Like a pedal steel that they play in country, where there were just lap versions of it. And in the post-war era, Oahu-style music, Hawaiian-inspired swing was the pop music of the day. Hugely popular. The #1 music segment. And it all had these lap steel guitars in it. Because the Spanish guitars, the acoustic guitars that you and I know, the Dave Matthews or whatever your thing is, the acoustic guitar, shipping lane, right in the middle of it is Hawaii, on the way to Japan. In Japan, they have an instrument called the koto, which is a lap floor instrument. All those things come together. The Hawaiians take the Spanish guitar, they fuse it with the koto, and they create these little lap steel guitars that ended up influencing everything. Leo took those. He loved the sound of them, cutting, penetrating sound. Comes up with the P bass, or the precision bass. What makes it precision? Anybody know? Come on. Look at you guys. I don't have any charts. I got no graphs. I got pictures of guitars and a cool story. Anybody know why they call it the precision bass? And you all have a smartphone. You're not that smart, are you? Look, Google it, for God's sake. Because it had frets on it. See those lines? Remember basses? They were like this, and the guys would stand there in the back of the band. Could you imagine the guy plucking on that thing like at dinner last night, plucking on that, and there's 4,000 people? Do you think anybody heard it? Leo was like, I'll take a Telecaster, put big fat strings on it, and I'll call it the precision bass because you can play with precision. Customer engagement. He's talking to bass players. What's your biggest problem? Nobody can hear me. I'm misunderstood. The guitar players weren't happy either. They were still in the rhythm section. Nobody was out on the front of the stage with their hair flowing. They were in the back going, dun, dun, ding, dun, 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 you know. And it was the other cowboys that were out front. He does the precision bass. He does the Stratocaster. It's like the archetype, right? You tell people, draw an electric guitar. There's a really good chance that they're going to draw that. And in Candy Apple Red, 1954, those guitars go for around $100,000 if you can find one today. Jimi Hendrix, all the new guys, we'll go through that. John Mayer, they all play. Skrillex plays the Telecaster, you kids in the back. You still with me? Okay. And the amplifiers that go with them. There were no guitar amplifiers set up for that. There were no 212 amplifiers with treble, middle, bass controls. Leo Fender did all of that. He did it in 4 years. And he did it by talking to guitar players because he had no clue. He wasn't a guitar player, he was an inventor. This is the power of innovation. This is the power of relevance. Relevance, one of the things that creates relevance is innovation, obviously. Don't get all caught up on relevance. Like, there's great books. Tim Manners wrote a book about relevance, interviews a lot of brilliant people, really great book. Look, relevance is interpersonal effectiveness, right? I pull up to you next to you at the bar. I'm like, I'll have a Bushmills with the big ice cube, please. We sit down, I turn to you, and I'm like, how about that War of 1812? And you look at me like, oh my God. But if I pull up next to you and I'm like, it's, you know, the Friday before the Saturday that the Wildcats are playing, and I say, oh my gosh, remember Lute Olson? Oh. That's relevance. Relevance is just interpersonal effectiveness. And in a fragmented world where my lactose intolerant cat can have whatever he wants, you need to relate to people in a way that matters to them. And the rub is everybody's got a unique problem and everybody needs a unique solution. I probably forgot to mention that. I might curse. If I do, I sincerely apologize because I'm trying to get better. I had that non-elective counseling. It helped a lot. And I promised Kimmy I'd try really fucking hard not to do it. So I'm going to... Boom, it's an explosive time. It's also a time of technology, like going crazy. And here's Leo Fender, driven, mortgages his house. He's just on a path. He's not, you know, he's just, I want to make something. I'm talking to these people. I got a little radio shop. Honey, I want to make it bigger. I want to make these things. He's trying finishes. He's ruining the home oven. He's doing all the thing inventors do. At a time when the world is just completely changing. And through innovation, he creates this relevance to musicians that literally changes contemporary music. You may not know Fender, But Fender's in the background, is in the music, the soundtrack of your lives. It's been everywhere. It's an amazing story. So, relevant moments, that matters. Who's that? Anybody know? It's written right up there. There's an app, I'm sure, where you can scan those letters, and it will tell you what it says. That's Buddy Holly and the Crickets. Oh, I'm feeding back. I've been in the music business, and I'm out in front of a speaker with a microphone. Who's that? Fender guitars. I've always been in the moment, right? They've always been in the moment. So what do you pull away from this? It's like, is your brand there? Are you doing things that matter to your customers? Are you going where your customers go outside of where they do commerce with you and do trade with you? In that thing that you have in common that stands for the whatever the what the heck is that why you're in business? At Fender, it's because we believe in music. We believe in the power of music to change lives, to influence culture, to motivate you. What are those Nike videos without the right? What's Jaws without dum? Right? What do all the clothing companies use to create the cool vibe and the imagery? Pictures like this. This is just our family album. Hey, come on, what'd you do last year? Well, I went with Bob Dylan, played a Strat. When he went electric, got booed off the stage at Newport Jazz Festival. This guitar, by the way, just sold. Anybody know how much? How much? $987,000. He left it on a plane because he's Bob Dylan. Yeah, it's time for my boot heels to be wandering. That guitar will just hold me down. I don't want possessions. Pilot took it home, 40 years later, $987,000. I'm sure Bob got something. The two guitars sold the most at auction ever were Fender instruments. They were Eric Clapton's Blackie and this guitar right here. Anybody know what that is? Who's that angry black man? He's burning his guitar. It's okay, kids. It's Jimi Hendrix. Monterey Pop Festival, 1967. So what keeps me up at night is how do I keep a brand, a 60-plus-year-old brand, how do I keep that brand relevant to a bunch of young people, patow people, that in the act of defining themselves dismantle everything their parents thought was cool. And that shit keeps me up, trust me. That's what's bugging me. There's the Beatles, their farewell tour, well, kind of. Been to Vegas lately? Went to the Wynn with my wife, get a little time away from the kids. We got kids, lots of kids, young ones, old ones. 30-year-old, 2-year-old, I shit you not. I got grandkids that call my other kids baby uncle. Remember the other picture? You can dress the boy up, take him out the band, but you can't take the band out the boy necessarily. So there's a brand, 60-plus years relevant, still going. There's Fender amplifiers. George is playing a Rosewood Telecaster. 70s punk hits. He's playing a Fender bass. Punk thing explodes. And so does Fender, under the ownership of CBS. Anybody from CBS here? Don't mean to insult anybody. Yeah, but they effed it all up. Because they were in the music business. And value engineering. We got anybody out here? Any operations people out here? Lean? Come on. Show yourselves. Where are the attorneys, by the way? Where's Eric and Tiffany? All right. You always want to know where the attorneys are, either to stay completely clear of them or to ask them for help. Well, CBS drove this brand into the ground. Actually, the company that I went to work for, this brand was absolutely lost all relevance. So everything that Leo Fender did to create this unbelievable American icon. I mean, it's like 57 Chevys. It's, Marilyn Monroe. We talk about, you can get brands in front of you tell you, my people are passionate. Let me tell you. Start lining up the people with Nike tattooed on their chest. I'll fill this room with people that have Fender tattooed all over their bodies. Now, I have a lot of tattoos. None of them are Fender. So I was never sure about my career. I'd be like, oh, geez, what if I have to go to work for Gibson? I have to get a cover-up or something, yeah. So the company literally just explodes. I lose all track of time, the 70s. Every now and then, like a thing breaks loose. How long do I have? 5 minutes? We're in so much trouble. Electric blues. Kurt Cobain in the 90s. It's a story of an ever-expanding customer base. It started off with professionals. Then we added some beginners and students and aspiring intermediates. I say aspiring because when the Beatles came out, it wasn't like, I want an Xbox and a guitar and a new baseball mitt. It was like, I want a guitar and I want to start a band. People were serious about it. And that's where all the bands came from, basically, after that. And then today, we've done things with T-Mobile. I don't know if you saw that. We have a Fender premium audio system in Volkswagen. I took it to Big Four for 2 years. Couldn't get an American company to do it. Shame on us. It was hugely successful. It's still in Volkswagens. It's the premium audio piece that you can get. And there's our customers. They're passionate. They're little. They're girls. They're guys. That guy took his guitar on his Mount Everest summit. Now, I don't think he made it because I'm not that brilliant, but I see taller mountains behind him. There's the moment of truth. There's the 0 moment of truth. There's the 4 moments of truth. There's the moment of truth right before the moment of truth. Thank Procter & Gamble for all that, right? There it is, 1958. Retail was a simple thing. We're a globally a wholesale business. We just started changing that this year. So can you imagine my job right now? Can you say channel conflict? Sabers are rattling, dogs are growling, board of directors are talking about stuff. Those were simpler times, weren't they? So you got the greatest brand. We are the #1 market shareholder in electric guitars, the #1 market shareholder in electric basses, the #1 market shareholder globally in amplifiers. But it's a tiny little business. That Nike video cost more than my marketing budget. The entire industry in North America, every piccolo, every reed, every piece of valve oil for your kid's trumpet, piano, guitar, kazoo, $6.5 billion. I do about I did about 500 million with the Fender line. So it shows you we have great market share, but keeping that position. So all these tactics that you hear and stuff, the one thing I want to tell you right now is they're awesome, unless they're not anchored to some strategy. I have 3 things in my mind. And it doesn't matter if you're new to business or old, you wander off of that all the time. Opportunity, addiction, oh, look at that shiny tactic. But what about our strategy? Don't worry, look, it's beautiful. Everybody's doing it, right? Protect Fender. It's by sustaining the relevance of our products. Nothing, and Terry said this, and I was so glad to hear a couple people say it, nothing is more important than compelling products. I don't care what marketing tools you have. I don't care what effective ways you have to communicate with people. If you don't have compelling products on your shelves, in your displays, on your website, you're not going to grow, and you're not going to accomplish your goals. Because everything else is work, and compelling products is fun. Do you have those? Why, yes, I do have one. Take it home. Do you have another one? Yes, I do. My phone's ringing. I need more. I'm like, I want you to have more, That's commerce at its best, compelling products. So here's Fender, this incredible brand, influences modern music, revolutionizes the manufacturing, changes its fashion, it's beautiful, it's cool, it's hip, it's now. Oh, there it is in retail. There's the world's greatest electric guitar brand at retail. We're in a specialty industry that frankly is really unsophisticated. And when you're a marketing guy in this world, it's frustrating. And you're trying to, position the brand. And I'm one of those guys, I went to college in my 40s. It took like forever. I go to work all day, then I go to college all day, and I come back, and I'd be like, data mining! And everyone would say, sit down. Customer retention, just sit down. And now here we are today. This is today. One of those is right for you. Hey, don't worry, it's a consultative model. I got to talk you through it. If you find the Fender guitar you want on our website, the odds of you finding it at retail are pretty hard. So we're kind of done with that, to be honest. So Fender is at a huge crossroads. And they're not all bad. I picked a couple of the ones that are just like break my heart. And these people are good people. This is not a slam on these people are good people. The channel just isn't that sophisticated. It's happening though. Is that my garage? Is that my garage? Or is that a music store? It's a music store. My garage is neater than that. My wife wouldn't let me have that much crap in my garage. Really important that you have channel relevance. So everybody's talking about that. We've got the most sophisticated retailers on the planet in this room. Don't need to hear that from me. There's our biggest customer. No one will buy a guitar out of a catalog, they told me. I said, well, can we try anyway? Channel was pissed off. I went to so many music stores. I'm like, just take their catalog and put up your bumper sticker on the cover of it and leave it on your counter and sell off of it. Try to get over it. People were pissed. It worked. How about this one? They'll never buy a guitar online. It's tactile. You got to play it. You got to hear it. No, you need an RA. You just need to be able to send it back if you don't like it. And now it's so sophisticated that, every guitar is serialized and online. So it's not like you're going to get one like that. You're going to buy that one with that grain pattern that weighs 7.5 pounds. That whole thing. Here's a, it's a crazy world, right? Girls with curly hair want straight hair. Girls with straight hair want curly hair. Retailers want to be manufacturers. Manufacturers want to be retail. Now what, our customers want to be retailers too? God. eBay. When you sell 1 million guitars a year, there's a lot of used ones out there. This is a thing. How do I monetize? How do I get some profit coming out of that channel? You gotta sell your stuff where people want to buy. I can't tell you how many phone calls I've had when we were doing these things that I was like, why the hell are you guys selling in catalogs? What are you doing? You're dealing with online dealers? Well, yeah, that's where our customers want to buy. You need product relevance. So if you're a retailer, you have to be looking for brands. You have to look out on the S-curves. You got to look at the outside. If you're only just going with the sure thing, you're going to miss it. Because the trends, they happen fast. They're out there. They develop. They boom, they go. We're selling direct. That's American design experience. You can get on Fender.com and build your own guitar. Online configurator. There's artists that already have stuff up there to inspire you. Oh, there it is. It's done. I'll take it. Working with Demandware on our new .com site. So we're at a huge crossroads. Technological relevance is product relevance. So that's a USB guitar. You plug right into your iPad and jam. It's all about the ecosystem now. Musicians aren't any different. And that's what's so frustrating about the business right now. It's like everyone has the consumer experience. You young people in the back, if something breaks, what do? Throw it away. You people in the back, who owns a soldering iron? Who knows what a soldering iron is? We're working on guitars that record straight to the cloud, so they capture every music idea you have. They have gesture mapping right on them so that you can drive sonic experiences. You have to create new music. I promise I'm going to get this finished. I'm not going anywhere tonight, so if you want to talk later, I know I have my email address up there. So yes, you have to have social. No shit, right? Everybody's told you that. Here I am. Yeah, you know what, honey? I went to the conference and the Fender guy said we should be on Facebook. No, actually the Fender guy said there might be specialty little niche .coms that you're better off being on than Facebook if you're in a specialty retail. Where's the REI people? They're like climbing a rock wall or something right now. Right? We rode our bikes here to the event. This is fucking awesome. I love REI, but you can't smoke in there, right? I'm just kidding. So your customers that's a real lifestyle thing. They're like, they come in your store and then they go do stuff. And so maybe there's some other websites and things where your customers, in the overall activity level of their behavior, that might be better than Facebook. That's our .com. That's our forum. It's big. It's not huge, but I mean, there's like 250,000 people on it that are pretty active. I send them products to review. The haters, I send them plane tickets. I send them plane tickets. I have them come out. Fender's just a bunch of suits. They don't know what the hell. I bring them in, bring them to show them. Everybody in my department plays guitar. You want to jam? Actually, I don't play. Oh, okay. You think I'm kidding? Blues Mama? No, can't play their way out of a paper sack. They're our customers and we love them. Yeah, Fender University, it's a mastery thing. Who's got a product line that requires learning something? A snowboard, mountain shoes, firming stuff. Mastery is a huge thing for relevance. It's a great opportunity. You know what happens after somebody achieves levels of mastery? What's the next thing that happens? They buy more. I call it the F chord chasm in guitar playing. Once you get past that F chord and you can play a song or a bar chord, and a girl kind of goes, oh, you play guitar? Bam, they're in the music store like, your product's got to be captivating and look awesome and have all the technology features. You got to be able to hear people talk about it. What's this one? You recognize that? Reviews. The peer-to-peer thing, this is not news to you. The interrupt and repeat model is over because those people in the back don't even have TVs. Unless you're buying like a waterbed or something, I guess. Do they still sell those? You never hear the words to a love song till you're heartbroken, and you never hear an ad for a sofa till you need a place to sit, right? It's odd because they're on all the time. This is it. I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you. I love Facebook. They're going to add Facebook on a divorce papers. Like right under irreconcilable differences, going to say Facebook. And I've been married 3 times. I know. Twitter, you got to tweet. Tweet once an hour, call me in the morning. Do relevant stuff. We call this guitar porn. Instagram. It's just like, hey, look at this. Hey, look at that. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at that. But there's a little thought behind it. The Dodgers, it's spring training. We did a deal with MLB. We got customers that like that. We're selling these guitars direct off our .com, pissing dealers off left and right. That's that conflict that Gene was, somebody asked, well, what do you do when the channel gets upset because you're selling stuff? It's like, what do you do when your brand looks like shit in retail? And you're trying to create this virtuous experience around the greatest brand of rock and roll guitars and amps in the world. You'll want to go into the store. Who saw Wayne's World? Anybody? Yeah, you want to go to the store in the white Strat and you're just like, and the angels are singing. There's Lollapalooza. We go. We're there because our customers are there. You got to go do this stuff in an authentic way. I encourage you to find events, things that are active. Use your online to push people to real-world experiences. Get the synergy between online and offline going. Find a way. Banks can do it. Anybody can do it. Converse is, who knows who Chuck Taylor is? Nobody knows who Chuck Taylor is. But you look at all their advertisements, it looks like our ads. South by Southwest, super important for us. We go there and we look. I got a phone call about 3 years ago from one of my guys. I don't see any Strats. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, oh, no, man, none of the guys are playing Strats. And my heart started palpitating. And he goes, but they're all playing like Jaguars and Jazz Masters. I'm like, you're kidding me. We sell like 400 a year. Well, here's what happened. The guys, the young guys, couldn't afford the new stuff, went to pawn shops, bought the stuff nobody wanted, which were Jaguars and Jazz Masters, which were surf guitars from the 60s, for $400 and a silver-faced Fender amp from the 60s, 70s. started bands, became rock stars, and now they're at South by Southwest playing them. We sell about 10 million in Jaguars and Jazzmasters now because my guy was at an event observing our super users. Yes, we go to that. We have one of these. It has a recording studio in it. So we go to events and we capture content and we feed it back on. Offline feeding online, online pushing offline, synergy back and forth. Relative content. All of this creates musical relevance. If you ask me why, the question I get asked in interviews over and over and over again, so why the Stratocaster after 60 years? Because of that. Those are records. You call them vinyl. Okay. Why? Because the body of work. So what's your body of work is my point. Is it trust? Is it a bunch of happy customers? Is it people that now know how to climb a rock wall? Is it somebody that ran their first marathon? What is your body of work? Figure it out because it may have a lot to do with your relevance. And it may not be directly what you do. It's the byproduct of what your customers do. That's Coldplay. That is, go ahead. You are, who said that? Good man. Who's that? This is weird because that's Mumford & Sons. Do you know who that they are? Raise your hand. Mumford & Sons? I call that 80s music, 1880s music. That shit needs to go away so I can sell some electric guitars. But this guy is playing the bass. Who's that? Here's an obscure one. You people in the back. Anybody? Neon Trees. Who said that? God, I'm doing some right things. That's good. Rock on. I got Q&A, but I got one thing. I want you, I'm not going to tell you to reach between your legs, so scoot your legs to the side for diversity. And reach up under the front of your chair, everybody. And I'll tell you what, if there's an empty chair next to you, I would reach up under it right now. Reach up under there. And if you really care and you see empty chairs like over in that area, I would be over in there. I would be reaching under the front of chairs like a madman right now. Reach under the front of those chairs, people. Oh! Oh, what does it say on the front of it? It says, oh my God, because you just won this Fender Stratocaster. Now, I could tell you all the features and benefits of this, but after this, don't you realize that doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't. But
this is what matters.
That's right. I've got an 18-year-old son who will love it.
You can re-gift it.
That's it.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to put it in a bag for you. What's your name? Chuck. Give Chuck some love, because Chuck's a lucky man. The trem arm's in there. My card's in that envelope. If you have any questions or concerns, you just call me, okay? Questions? I know I went too long probably. I'm sorry. We okay? Okay. If you got Q&A, if not, you can Q&A me at the bar. There's my email address. Seriously, shared learnings for you companies. You want to come to Fender? You want me to come to your organization? Let's do it. I love that. We're all about that. Collaboration is king. Email me. Let's talk about it. You young people in the back that are looking for mentoring, ideas, and careers, I got a couple of category management positions that we're opening up as we go into this new phase at Fender. I even have some assistant category management positions that are open up in the Fender brand. For graduates and other people in between. Any questions, any concerns? I went way too long, I'm sure. No? Thank you very much.